Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you watch this video, it's time for the September 2nd edition of the Wednesday update. After a week off, I'm grateful to be back doing this week. Well, hey, just a big shout out of thanks to those of you who have been helping out here at the church. We've had some big painting projects to get done, and you've stepped up and helped out with that. We've had some gardening get done, and that was a blessing to have that done. Others of you go out of your way to work behind the scenes to get things done at the church here on a regular basis, and a big shout out of thanks to you. Every one of you, even though I'm not pointing out any one person, knows who you are. Thank you so much for what you do on a regular basis to make this church more presentable, more beautiful, more aesthetically pleasing when you come here and worship. Before we move on today, though, let me just say a few things about our house and what's been happening in our house these days. Now, if your house is anything like ours, and it may or may not be, depending on how old you are knee-deep in all things back to school. Our house is back to school time for sure. In our house, things are very, very different, however. Our oldest daughter, Joy, is at school all day, every day, 5 days a week. But the youngest two, it's all very different. Hope and Seth, they're only at school 2 days a week. Now, in some ways, this is a lot easier because carpool has never been so simple. Carpool has been incredible. No long lines, no honking horns. What a blessing. But the schedule is new. We used to get up Monday through Friday and we do the same thing every day. Drop off and pick up, drop off, pick up. Pretty much the same thing every day. But now we get up and ask ourselves, hey, what day is it? Because if it's Tuesday, well, they're all going to school. If it's Friday, they're all going to go to school. But if it's Monday or Wednesday or Thursday, aside from Joy, they're staying home. Well, so far this has gone okay. We're adapting and so are the kids. But what about those who are teaching our kids? Like some of you teachers have had to adapt on the fly really fast, and you spent hours this summer getting ready for plan A or plan B or plan C or probably even a plan D. Some of you are teachers, and that's what you've had to endure. All to say, as parents and even grandparents, let's be especially kind towards the teachers who are teaching our kids and our grandkids this year. They are facing a year unlike any other year they've ever taught. So in light of all this change and all this chaos and uncertainty that's in our house, that's in your house, I came across this passage in my devotions this morning that I wanted to read, and I want to just read a part of it, but it comes from Psalm 46, and it reads like this. Psalm 46, verse 1. God is our refuge and strength, always ready to help in times of trouble. So, the psalmist writes, we will not fear when earthquakes come and the mountains crumble into the sea. Now, perhaps, like me, you need this sort of reminder. Now, we might not be facing an earthquake here in West Michigan or anything like that, but our days are certainly unsettled and our anxiety can often get the best of us. Therefore, I think this psalm is a valuable reminder that when in doubt and when in chaos and when our anxieties get ramped way, way up, we turn to God, who is our refuge, who is our strength. Now, as most of you know, I'm not very political. I mean, if you ask me, I'll tell you who I'm going to vote for in any upcoming election, and I'll give you several reasons for my decision. However, I'm not the kind of person to tell any one of you to vote this way or else. That's not me, and I don't think it will ever be me unless God specifically says you must vote for this candidate. I'm not going to do that sort of thing, okay? So, at the end of the day, whoever gets elected as our next president or our governor or senator or representative or whoever, we can never lose sight of the fact that God is our refuge. God is our strength. God is our hope, and really no one else. It's true, we may place some amount of hope in a certain candidate. That's why we go to the polls in the first place. Nevertheless, let's never lose sight of the fact that anyone we elect is still very human and subject to all sorts of human frailties and human limitations. I mean, take for instance our presidential candidates this year, Trump and Biden. Those are the two. One of those two is going to be our next president for sure. And because of that, they seem to be going back after each other, their campaigns anyway, pointing out how frail the one is and the other one isn't. Like, we hear this every single day. And so we are told about their humanness on a regular basis. We're reminded of their humanness over and over. So that can unsettle us. And so whether school feels unsettled or this upcoming election is causing us to be in a tizzy about that, or worried about that, anxious about that, please stop what you're doing. Stop what you're watching. Turn off the news, turn off the TV, the radio, whatever, and read a psalm like Psalm 46. Meditate on God's word and take a moment to do what it says, especially near the end. In the end, verse 10, it says this: "Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. I will be honored by every nation. I will be honored throughout the world. The Lord of heaven's armies is here among us. The God of Israel is our fortress." The writer says, be still and know that I am God. To be still, I think as the psalmist writes it here, isn't just to stop moving. To be still, as the psalmist intends, is for our hearts to grow calm and not to be caught up by all the trouble that is around us. You may remember Jesus' words from John's gospel. Jesus once said this to his disciples. He says, "Here on earth, you will have many trials and you will have many sorrows. But take heart, because I have overcome the world." Let's remember that today. And as we do so, I can assure you that peace will win out over chaos every time. God bless every one of you. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you again on Friday. Have a great one. Bye-bye.